Hi, thanks for joining me for another meditation hour session. And today I felt that my body needs a lot of rest. And I was feeling uneasy last night, and that was because of weeks of sleep deprivation. And I felt, a slight headache and very uneasy. So I did what I should have done during the weekend. Took a break and slept until I feel better. And the point I'm trying to make is that your body is the best feedback. Your body knows what you need in that moment, and all you have to do is listen. And the same goes for your mind as well. Personally, I think mind and body are inseparable, at least as long as we are alive in this reality. I don't know what happens, when I'm dead. But some things are so tangled together, like space-time. You cannot separate them. Likewise, I feel mind-body is one of those things which are tangled together. You can experience within your life. Your mind can change the features or properties of your body, or how you feel, basically. And other way around, your body can change what you can think about yourself. And this is a very strong connection, and it took me really, really long time to understand this. Growing up, I was more of a rational person, and I believe, and I wasn't paying so much of attention to my body. And I did abuse my body so much, especially with the food. I was very fat ass for the same reason, because I used to binge eat, and instead of addressing the issue I had, I used to just feed, or just look up for constant gratification, and just food was one of those gratification. And especially the sweets, back in India, the sweets are so amazing. So it's normal to just kind of keep on feeding on those sweets and those sugars. But over time, I realized that the connection between mind and body is very strong. And when your body is trying to say something, try to just listen to it. And I'm not just saying it as some woo-woo, but there are researches which are already being done in this area, and you would be surprised how much of your microbiomes can play a role into your day-to-day behavior, which was super surprising and eye-opening for me. So the microbiomes are the gut bacteria within your gut, within your stomach, and depending on the food you eat, those microbiomes can create a set of behaviors. So if you are addicted to fast food, then some of that addiction is in your mind, and some of that addiction is in your gut bacteria, because the bacteria which survive and thrive on those ingredients will trigger the behavior change and create these cravings within your mind, so that you can keep on binge eating the fast food. And if you don't listen to your body and keep on acting in the same behavior patterns, then it will lead to abusing your body, and that means becoming obese, or creating these circumstances which are optimum for different diseases to penetrate through your body and make you sick, basically. So for the past few weeks, I've been experiencing a lot of sleep deprivation because I was sleeping anywhere between 6 to 7 hours, which was really less for me because I love to sleep, or at least I used to love to sleep. And even though during weekends when I tried to sleep early or get 8 hours sleep, my body would automatically wake up at 6 within 6 to 7 hours window, and I could feel that sleep deprivation. So last night at around past 2-3 a.m. I was feeling so uneasy that I figured I need to take a rest and catch up on all the deprived sleep. And I'm so grateful for my job, for having the flexibility to take a sick leave, and which is what I needed in that moment. Because if I keep abusing my body and keep doing keep going to work and other things, the chances are my headache would have been more stronger, and I would have to take different drastic steps. So I'm glad that I got to take this break and sleep for a set of time, which was really better for my headache and the uneasiness I was feeling. And just to add on to that, throughout my life, I was under the impression that body is more or less like a machine, so to speak. You fed it, you fuel it, and it uses that energy to kind of give you energy, and you can do whatever you need to do, play, work, and whatever you do in your day-to-day life. But now I'm realizing that it's just not a machine. It's you. It's a connection between you and your body, which is helpful in longer term as well. And I can still feel a lot of the things I've done in the past, which my body is still recovering from, like the stored fat on my belly, and it's gonna take for a bit more longer time unless I dedicate more time and exercise and target those fat and shape it in a better way. But right now I don't have time specifically to focus on that. I have so many things going on in my life, which I'm super grateful for. So meditation did help me to listen to my mind body more closely, because with meditation I just sit down here and focus on my breath and my body sensations, and in those moments I go through the entire sensations throughout my body and see where there are tension trapped within my body, and that helped me to connect well, and also to see what I could do to eliminate those tension. And of course there are a lot of ways. Stretching is one of the best way to reduce the tension at various points within the body. And I do take occasional sessions of sensory deprivation tank, which is really amazing, which is, if you haven't heard about it, it's an amazing concept where you just float on an Epsom salt water for 90 minutes at least, and within a confined space, and when you're floating in there, it's complete darkness and complete silence. So that is meditative in itself. And on top of that, your body, when it doesn't feel gravity anymore, you can, or at least I can, feel the tensions at various points within the body. And at moments I realize that after coming out of those sessions, I feel so lightweight and also rejuvenated with a surge of energy, so that I can go back into the world and do the other things which I plan to do. And on similar line, there are a lot of other practices like massage. I haven't have a good routine to go to massages regularly, but people who does have a good feedback, because massages are literally to release the tension of the body and give you that lightness. But I do stretch a lot with my Aikido practice, and I do Surya Namaskar every morning and every night. So when I wake up, I do 5 Surya Namaskar, and before going to bed, I do 5 Surya Namaskar. And I feel that it's a really good exercise because it has push-ups, it has sit-ups, and it has basic stretch. So I feel that over time, this will all add up and my body will become more and more flexible. And to get immediate connection with your body, so to speak, the best way to get into that is to change your diet or control your diet. I've been trying different diets for past 3 years now, or 2 years at least, and in a couple of years back I started keto diet, which has dramatically changed my body fat level, and after that I switched to intermittent fasting, which I do even till this date, especially from the beginning of this year. I've been consistently fasting for 16 hours and eat within just 8-hour window. And I must say that have significantly changed my lifestyle, because now I have to plan out when I'm gonna take my first intake of food, and I have to plan out what would be the 8 hours after that, and for the next 16 hours I won't be eating anything. And the best part of that is my mind got used to that rhythm so quickly, and so that now I don't get cravings at odd hours. And that's a very powerful I would say attribute of intermittent fasting. At the very least, even if you eat a lot within that 8 hours window and fast for the next 16 hours, that is sending a message to your brain or your mind that there are times when you will just reject anything come in front of you, even if you love that food, if that's your favorite dish in the world, and if it's out of that 8-hour window, you are telling your mind that no, you're not going to abuse your body, and you will create this mindset and willpower to kind of continue and use that willpower in different areas of your life. I personally believe that all of these factors contribute in different areas of your life. Like intermittent fasting helped me to kind of not be lazy out and do other things which I plan to do. If I were just eating all the time, then I'll be just a couch potato like I used to be. And the other powerful message is when you changes some of the mindset patterns in your day-to-day life, how your body will react to that. Like for the past couple weeks or a week and a half so far, I've gave up on watching movies and TV shows. I am such a big addict to TV shows and movies that throughout my life I must have watched so many shows, not just movies. If I count, at some point I did make a list and it was over 100, so I'm sure it's now more than that. And I believe most of those TV shows are not just entertaining but also has very well meaningful moments, and teach you something within those profound moments. But that being aside, I realized that just by watching those shows and movies, I was cutting out my real life, which is what we all have to do, or at least I have to do. And that's why I gave up on TV shows and movies. I still watch a lot of random videos and things, but I'm getting better at it. And I realized just by cutting that down, I have more time to read. And for the past week or so, I've been consistently reading at least 10 pages for some of for some of the books I plan to read. And that's just another form of taking information. Unlike TV shows and movies, which requires you to sit in front of it, but your mind can still wander off, which mine does. I mean, there were times when I was playing game while watching something, and half-heartedly pay attention to both of them. But now, after cutting that down, I am focusing completely, or as much as I can, while reading books, and I could see the change within my mindset. And I'm hoping that I will continue to do this regardless of where I am. And when your mind shifts, or the mindset changes into different direction, your body automatically follows it. For the past few weeks, I was sleep deprived because I knew that I need to take care of things like, no matter how late I come back from my practices and open mic, I have to sit down here and meditate. So there were moments when I was meditating at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and whatnot, and still going to bed, getting up early, or getting up and going to work, and so on and on. So your body adapts to your mindset, and your mind adapts to your body. So it's a very strong connection. And I'm hoping that with this continued meditation practice, I get deeper into this connection. And I don't have any end goal, because to me this is it's kind of exciting to be pursuing something which is no end goal. I don't know where this mind-body connection gonna take me, or how long it's gonna last, but as long as I can meditate and be mindful, I'm gonna get deeper into this, and I don't know where it's gonna take me. So that's really amazing, and it does help me when I do other things, like I said, during my open mic, when I go in front of people and perform, I could feel that awareness. It's sort of mental high, if you will, which create a bit of clarity, and I can feel the room, which is such a big factor if you want to get better at performance. Because if you cannot feel the room, and if you cannot feel the room, then the chances are you'll have real hard time to improve your performance and get better at connecting with people from the stage, or connecting with the audience. That's what I mean. With that note, I am gonna start meditating for the next hour, and I'm going to meditate using Vipassana technique, which is to focus on my breath and body sensations. And during the meditation itself, at least for the first 15-20 minutes or so, I will describe I will highlight what I'm being aware of, or what I'm looking at when I'm focusing on my breath. And I'm going to do a body scan after that and highlight what sensations I'm looking out for. And there are a lot of other sensations which I'm not going to describe, and which definitely I'm going to feel throughout, but I'm just going to highlight some of them. And likewise, if you or when you choose to meditate and use the Vipassana technique, you would feel different set of sensations, different set of experiences, and just pay attention and observe those experiences, and come back or bring back your attention to the body and the sensation. I feel meditation is the best way to train yourself to focus on one specific task, which was what I was lacking for longer period of time. I was so distracted with so many random things that I half-heartedly pay attention to 2 or 3 different things. Don't get me wrong, I mean, there were moments within those half-hearted attention times as well when I could connect and feel focused on one specific task, especially if I loved that task and would continue to do that. But I'm at a point in my life where I want to master my mind body so that I can focus and pay attention to any given task or any given person. So, well, with that note, let's get started. Hey Google, set an alarm for an hour from now.
Got it. Your alarm's set for 6:05 p.m.
I observe that my breath is shallow. I observe the flow of my breath. From the moment it touches my nostril and flow through it into my lungs, and from my lungs through my nostrils out into the space. I observe the air touching the walls of my nostrils. I observe that I'm inhaling from both nostrils and exhaling from both nostrils. I observe the difference in temperature of my inhale breath and exhale breath. I observed that a song is stuck in my head, and I'm trying to bring my attention back to my breath. I observed that my mind wandered off. Now I'm gonna do a quick body scan from top of my head to tip of my toe, and I will go over each and every body part, or when I say I go over, I will flow my awareness through each and every body part to see what sensation I'm feeling across that body part. In some of the other meditative practices, I heard an analogy of imagining a floating light flowing through your body and going through each and every part of your body. But in Vipassana, you don't need floating light. Your awareness is that floating light. So once you start being aware of various part of your body, you will automatically feel the sensation on that part at that moment. I observe the cold air from the fan touching my head, top of my head. I observe the air touching my forehead. Touching my eyelids. I observe the air touching my ears. Touching my lips and chin. My under chin and neck. I observe the air flowing through the fabric of my shirt, touching my torso and my back. I observe the static charge between the fabric of my shirt and my chest hair. I'm going to focus on my left hand. Observe the sensation from the fabric of my shirt on my left shoulder. I observe the air from the fan touching my left bicep and my elbow. The rest of the hand and my wrist and my fingers. I observe the point of contact between my left hand and my left knee. I observe the point of contact between my left thumb and left forefinger. I'm gonna focus on my right hand. Observe the air flowing through the fabric of my shirt and touching my shoulder. I observe the fabric of the shirt touching my shoulder. I observe the air touching my biceps and my elbow and my forearm and my wrist and my fingers. I observe the connection point between my right hand and my right knee. Observe the point of contact between my right thumb and my right forefinger. I'm gonna focus on my left leg. Observe the point of contact between my left bum and the cushion on which I'm sitting. Observe the point of contact between my left knee and my left hand. I observe the point of contact between my right leg and left leg at various points. Observe the point of contact of my left heel with my right hip, and I observe the point of contact between my left toe and my right leg. Now I'm going to focus on my right leg. I observe the point of contact between my right side of the bum with the cushion on which I'm sitting. I observe the contact between my right knee and right hand. Observe the contact between my right heel and my left leg. Observe the contact between my right toe and the blanket or shawl I've wrapped around. Observe the air through the shawl touching my right feet. Now I will continue to do body scan from top of my head to tip of my toe and from tip of my toe to top of my head. And I might just say out loud whenever my mind wanders off. And also a few other observations. I observe the sound of the fan and the other things around me. I also observe the smell of the room. I observe the sound of that car Alright. When I do body scan, I scan both sides of my body simultaneously. I observed that my posture was leaning forwards. I observed the tension in my neck. I observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. I observed that my mind wandered off. Hey Google, stop. Thanks for joining me for this hour-long meditation. If you enjoy or like some of the things which I say, please share and leave a comment and let me know what you feel like it. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Stay peaceful.